welcome back students. Let's dive right in today. This is Foundations of English 9 for Wednesday, August 26th, 2020. All right, so yesterday was about practice and today is about mastery. We're going to talk about quizzes one more time. We're going to go over some ReadWorks sample book of knowledges, real ones that you guys have written from the last day. We're going to talk about Quill, which you're going to do a diagnostic on Quill today. We're going to end class with quizzes together again, another chance to practice, and then we'll do our independent work. So let's talk about quizzes quickly. Every day you're going to play the same quiz on your own. Most days we're also going to play in class, at least this week, but the practice on your own is so that you really internalize the knowledge and build mastery in the topic. So right now it's about prefixes. The goal is for you to be able to internalize these to the level that you can use them when you find new words on your own. So you can use the quiz function. That's the one that you get when you click through the link in Classroom. Or you can use the flashcard function. On my screen it looks a little bit different, but on yours it should, when you get to the end of the quiz, give you an option for flashcards. Sometimes it'll take you right there and give you the option right away. The flashcard option will also let you go over the ones you missed, so it gives you a good idea of which questions you need to go back and focus on. Now these quizzes aren't for a grade right now. Right now, you do get a grade just for doing them. Practicing right now is the grade, but you will take them graded at some point. Now for this quiz, you're going to take the quiz that's graded on Friday. That means you have today and tomorrow to practice, and then Friday during our live class, you will take the quiz. All right, so let's switch gears back to ReadWorks. Now, you did your first article on your own yesterday and completed a book of knowledge. So these were the things I asked you to do: to complete one article a day, to read or listen to it, to complete a book of knowledge between 50 and 100 words, including the 4 different things we outlined in yesterday's video. If you don't remember those, please go back and watch that one again. It's really good to review the requirements just to make sure you're doing all the things you need to. Some days we're going to start class with going over a book of knowledge together, and that includes today. So today I pulled 2 samples, and they're both really good for first entries. We're going to talk about what's good about them and what can be improved. We are going over these not to call out mistakes or talk about why someone didn't do a good enough job or to show you why your grade was lowered. We're going over these to build mastery. The more practice you get with it, the easier it's going to be to write really solid, good paragraphs with all 4 parts. So here's the first one. The article I read today is about all the work teachers put into their jobs. I learned that Ms. Shields works an additional 3 hours every day to prepare her class for tomorrow. I remember my 8th grade ELA teacher telling me that she barely gets sleep because of how much work she does. I like knowing that my teachers are willing to work extra to make sure I get my education. That shows they care. So this was someone's entry. It was 76 words. Let's go over the 4 parts within it. The first is the context sentence. They included what the article was about. Excellent. The next sentence is the meat of the paragraph, the what you learned from the article. Now, even if I haven't read the article, this tells me that it's about teachers and working outside of their jobs in order to help their students learn or prepare for the day. So that's a great sentence there. And then there's a really good connection here. It's a personal story where this person connects to something that happened to them. Remember, this can be also, you can talk about a movie or a book or a TV show, but a personal story works too. And this not only lets me get to know you a little bit, but it tells me that you're connecting to what you read and you understood it. And then it ends with an opinion statement. And again, this part is optional. You don't always have to include an opinion, but I like seeing an opinion statement at the end because, again, it helps me get to know you. So those are the 4 parts. This is the first entry. We're going to look at another one that someone wrote yesterday that doesn't have all 4 parts, but we're going to talk about how you can quickly add and go back and revise to make sure it includes all of them. Okay, so I learned that teachers will do anything to make her students happy. Now, it's missing that context sentence, so it doesn't tell me what is going on in the article, like what the article is about. I can get some of that from this sentence, but it really needs a frame at the beginning. Now, it has a really good statement of what the article or what the person learned in the article. That is accurate for the article. It gives you some detail. It's missing a connection to something outside of the article, book, movie, TV show, story, and it doesn't have the optional opinion statement. You can also see it's 12 words, and your entries should be between 50 to 100 words. So let's look at a quick revision that I did with it that would make it include all 4 parts. So I have highlighted there in yellow the part that was original to this student, and then I added some sentences around it. So today I read an article about the life of a teacher. That's the context sentence. Then I have the part that was learned, and I added a detail to it, like work long hours or even second jobs so they can keep teaching. So that's an added statement. Again, the more detail you give here, the more I can see your thinking and your understanding. Good writing is detailed. That's the most important thing about good writing, is that it has really strong details. And then the next part, I added a connection, and this is a connection that I made to my own personal life because I can't obviously make a connection for the student who wrote this. I know a teacher who had to wait tables on the weekend to make enough money to keep being a teacher. That is a true story from a friend of mine when I was a 5th-year teacher. She was a 1st-year teacher and working at Chili's on the weekend. And then an opinion statement. I think it's sad she had to work a second job. I'm glad she loved her students enough to do it. Opinion statement. So I took that 12 words and made it 79 words. Okay. What you might notice too is that I didn't change a lot of the spelling and grammar. I did in this just because I made it into my own writing. But if you make some grammar or spelling mistakes, that's not the biggest deal to me. The bigger deal is that you have all 4 parts and that you have the word requirement. We can work on the picky little grammar, capitalization stuff later. Right now, it's really just about the content and the ideas. So I hope those 2 examples show you what you should be doing and what you should go forward doing. For this first entry, as long as you completed it, that's fine. You don't need to go back and revise it, but I do expect from this point on that you work toward getting these 4 parts, 50 to 100 words. Remember, if you're having trouble with this, please ask for help. If you want to do a one-on-one later today or another day for office hours, please let me know in chat. We can email, whatever works for you, and we will find a time to do it and we can work on it together. It's the same thing that I would do if you were sitting in my classroom and struggling with this. I'd sit down next to you and we'd work on it together. Okay? So if this is a challenge for you, don't worry. We can work on it. All right. We're going to move on to Quill next. I did not change the image out, so it says quizzes on one side. I apologize for that. But Quill is another tool we're going to use in order to master language. What I really, really like about Quill is that it goes at your pace, and I can assign things to you that you actually need to work on that I've seen in your writing is something that you struggle with. Today you're going to do a diagnostic for me, and what that'll show me is what issues we can assign as a class and what things that I'm going to assign to you individually. It'll show me exactly what you need in order to become a better writer, and that's a big portion of this class, is learning how to write well. Now, why should you learn how to write well? Why should you master language? Everything in the world runs on language. Everything we're saying is just spoken writing. So writing is fundamental. It's something that everyone needs to be good at. And people do judge you based on the language you use, especially in professional situations. Now, sending emails to people, applying for jobs, writing statements on jobs as well, college essays, all those things are professional context for you right now. And it's important how you use language. So the more professional and clear and correct your language is, the better you're going to come off. Writing well is one of the most important life skills, and it's also something that you probably haven't done a whole lot of. Grades 5 through 9 tend to ignore writing because it's not tested, or it wasn't tested on the NCFE, but it is on the ACT and the SAT, as well as in the 10th grade, you have an EOC that includes a writing sample. And beyond that, if you go to college, you're going to write a lot. If you don't go to college, you still have to write for your job. So this is something that you really need to get good at, and Quill will help you get there. All right, so this is a look inside what Quill will look like for you. So you're going to find your class. It should have the class name and class period. You click on it, and then you should see a diagnostic page right here. So it should be in all activities. If you don't see this, or if the class is wrong, you need to email me and let me know so I can fix it for you. So it should say Starter Diagnostic. It should say Due Today. You click Start. So 25 questions on writing sentences. It says some of the questions may be things you haven't learned. That's fine. Answer the best you can. Make sure you read the instructions carefully for each question. You begin. And then you're going to have blank. So we arrived blank school before the bell rang. So you're going to choose one of those 4 answers. I'm going to write 1, hit submit. Now I am just choosing randomly. Don't take my answers as right or wrong. And you see it doesn't show you whether it's right or wrong. So New Year's Day is a holiday. Submit. And you're just going to keep going like that until it shows you have 25 questions answered. Now, when you've completed it, it should show up in completed activities. So you can see because I haven't completed it, there's nothing there. It will still show up on this screen on the All Activities page. Now you can get to Quill through Google Classroom. I will also post the specific link on the post and in the chat for you. All right, so today's independent work. You're going to choose another article from the article set in ReadWorks, and you're going to complete your book of knowledge using those same 4 components that we talked about today. You're going to do the Quill diagnostic. Now this might take you 15 or 20 minutes, so make sure you allot time for that. And then practice quizzes on your own at least once. If you are getting a lower score, like in the 50s, 60s, 70s, you need to probably practice more than once a day. You should be practicing this until you can get it automatically on your own without having to really dig in your memory until it's just on the tip of your brain, tip of your tongue. All right, please make sure you're completing your independent work every day. It is important. It is going to start going in PowerSchool so you can see what you have completed and what is left to be completed. And it's so much easier to do it each day than it is to leave it to the end and try and race and get it all done later. So let's switch gears and go ahead and play quizzes together, and I will talk to you tomorrow.